Okay, I think that this is working. I'm gonna just check, make sure it pulls up. All right, good. Looks like it's coming up. Good morning, everybody. I'm gonna wait for some of the viewers to come in, so I'm gonna play some music in the background, like usual. And it's usually Skyrim music because there's no copyright issues with that. So keep that in mind. So you know the plan. Once you hear the music stop, and that's usually when the stream starts. So I'm going to continue setting up here in the background. Make sure I have everything in place. For those of you that are just joining, uh, waiting a couple minutes for some live viewers to come in. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. All right, so look, we already have some people in here, so that's good. So I think I'm gonna go. Well, actually, I'll give it a couple more minutes. So be patient with me, guys. For those that are just tuning in, I try to be patient so I can have some people come in first before I really start. Uh, I guess my spiel. So I have quite a bit of things to talk about today. So that's another reason why I did streaming. I'm doing the streaming today. Uh, let's see. Why don't I just go ahead and start now? Okay. So, good morning to those of you that are on the East Coast. Well, in the U.S. actually, it's morning pretty much everywhere here. It's 9:47 in the morning, uh, and all of my trades are closed out. I am very happy about that. So you know the protocol. I've talked about the trades that I was in since the last stream or video that I posted, and then I go into the outlook typically, and then questions. I've had quite a few questions that have been asked since my last stream. Thanks for the thumbs up or the likes on the last stream. One of my highest liked streams, which gives me more incentive to continue the streams if you guys are liking what I guess what content I'm offering. Um, so today is really weird, a really interesting day because of what's taking place. We have the Trump and Comey situation that's happening. I believe really soon. I'm not sure of the exact time, but it's sometime today, this morning, and it might even be happening at 10 a.m. And so that's gonna could potentially shake the dollar quite a bit. There's already been some weird action going on right now, just on the Euro US dollar. You can see these weird candlesticks with all the wicks everywhere. A lot of insurity in the market right now, in particular on the Euro US dollar. Now the pound has fallen recently as well. It did shoot up a lot, and then it's been falling this morning. And I'll get into why that's happening. That's happening right now. Um, and you may know already that there are the elections that's going on in the UK. Um, and that's causing some interesting behavior on the pound as well. Okay, so I'm gonna go through the trades that I took yesterday. Now, those of you that tuned in yesterday saw that I was in two trades on the pound Canadian dollar. Um, and so I'm going to talk about those two trades and also talk about a mistake I made as well. Now, I'm not a perfect trader. I do make mistakes. They do happen. Unfortunately, I don't want to blame it on the stream, but I probably would have been a little bit better at checking my information before entering position if I wasn't doing the stream during the trade. And somebody actually asked me that question, which I'll get to later on Forex Factory. So let's get into the trades now. So good morning, everybody. Again, a few more of you showed up. And this was the trade that I took during the live stream yesterday, and I also took this one near the end of the live stream yesterday as well. And they were both a bit interesting because this one I was looking for a small pullback of about 10 pips profit. As you can see, I didn't quite get that. It moved up. I looked for a better opportunity, which ended up being here. Now was the mistake. This is the mistake trade, um, and not looking back on hindsight either. After I took this and I ended my stream, it did shoot up pretty soon after. But by this candle, I looked at the news, and I'll show you that now. I entered wrong website. I entered a trade right during the news, or 5 minutes before the news. Now, when I usually try to stick away from that on manual trades. So this is the news that I'm talking about. The crude oil investments. This was not great for me. There was also building permits too that came out that same day. So there was a lot of stress on the Canadian dollar, but the oil is what really hurt me. And uh, the CAD or the pound really shot up because of the lack of oil inventories that came out. They were unexpected. I mean, it's not saying that it's a huge difference here. Um, Actually, yeah, it is a huge difference because look at the numbers. You're seeing minus 3.1, and it was actually 3.3. So quite a big difference, and that's typically this doesn't ride the um, price as much because it's not such a drastic change. But any news that's either a lot better or a lot worse than the expected or the forecast, there's usually a jump in price. So just because if you go on Forex Factory and you see that the impact is red, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to move the market every single time that the news comes out. So yeah, I entered 5 minutes before that at 10:25, and I got nailed hard. Um, so yeah, this entry was a mistake because if you look at it, it was done. Yeah, it was entered at 7:20. So just a few minutes before the news came out at 7:30. So it's 17:30. So that's when the news came out and it shot up in a matter of 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. It went up almost 80 pips. All right, so I was in a pretty dire situation after the second order and kicking myself for entering in general. Yeah, if the news came out and I could have been on the opposite side and it could have shot down. But I would have also been like, whoa, why did it move down so much into into the profit area, in a matter of just a few minutes? I would have looked up the news and I would have been like, oh, I entered a few minutes before the news. That's a huge mistake. And I would have called it a mistake even in the same stream today, if this would have closed out for profit, telling you guys that it was a mistake and it was a profitable one, but I didn't have the luck on my side that time. Okay. Let me make sure I don't have any questions coming in. Oh, I do have some questions coming in. Hello, Ryan. I was just thinking about you, and you came on. All right. Well, that's good. I'm glad that I came on for stream. It's just because I had so much to talk to you guys about today, so that's why I'm decided to do another stream here. What good timing. Hi, Ryan, in the UK, 1448 here. Good. Okay. So what happened after the second trade? After I knew I made the mistake, I waited until I hit this 75 level. So of 75, the whole number, I looked at this level and I saw that there was a lot of good potential for it to push back down from there. I went in just a little bit early, right on this candle. I was looking at these candles up here, in particular this one, and I decided that after this big long push, so this is a 200, I think it's almost 200 pips. Oh, okay, 150 pips, almost straight up. Uh, and I was thinking, all right, so we've already pushed past one whole number, which is 74, and in the 75 level, I would expect to pull back after this much of a push so quickly that there would be a small pullback here. I entered a little bit early, and then the next candle, this one was an entry for me. This would have been an entry candle for a small manual take profit of about 10 pips. So I would have entered, if you can see, on this candle opening right here. So I entered about 5 minutes early, anticipating that this would move down from there. It did. It did move down, but not enough. It didn't move down enough. I was close to profit, didn't quite hit it. I'm going to show you what it looks like on the 30-minute time frame. Okay, so we have order 1, order 2, order 3, pull back, and it shot back up again. I was really bummed after that because I knew this was a good setup, especially when it started moving down. I just didn't get enough pullback as I was looking for, but I did target the location of that pullback and when it would happen. You could call it luck, you could call it luck and skill, you could call it skill. I don't know what it is, but I did hit that top area and it did fall back down, just not enough for me to take profit. All right, so what happened next? Next is when it gets a little tricky, a little interesting because this position, you're probably thinking, well, why did you enter this one when this trade was so close? They were actually about they're only about 16 pips apart. And if you look at the size difference, so I was trading lot sizes of 0.75, and then this one was 0.3. So this was actually my algorithm. My algorithm was trading on top of my 3 manual trades, and so I was like, uh-oh, this is going to get interesting because that means that I'm going double deep on manual trades and on my algorithm. And so I decided that it would be wise for me to not enter any more manual trades after this one and just let the algorithm take over. So if it continued to go up, my algorithm would enter more trades if it continued to push on the upside. Um, and it did. Unfortunately, there was another small pullback. It didn't quite move all the way through, and it jumped back up. My algorithm entered another 0.3 lot trade at the peak, and then it pushed down from there, from this peak area. As you can see, this is where I took the profit of $159 amongst all three positions. And it was a decent day. Now it came out with 130, it says 134 pips profit, um, which is about right. It's because the top two orders were much less lot size at point 0.3 instead of 0.75. And so I had to pull a lot more pips on these ones. But this top trade was a good 93 pips, and that's kind of what I needed to come out with profit. So this week, I'll talk more about this trade, this basket in a second. But this week, just to show you guys real quickly, for those of you that are watching, to keep your interest peaked, I guess, is the 216 pips profit for this week and $467, which is 1.59%. With the total lots out so far this week is 6.37. So a pretty good week at $467 so far. It's only Thursday and Friday. I don't think I'm going to have a lot more trades today until after everything has been settled with the UK election, with the commie, I guess I wanted to say presentation, but a speech. Um, and there's also, I think there's more. Is there more news coming out today? Oh yeah, the ECB press conference. That already happened, and I think that's what caused a lot of this inconsistent euro action going on here. So these kind of trade setups, or not trade setups, but candlesticks. So the ECB press conference was kind of a miss today, and but I'm glad to be out of this trade. So to wrap this whole basket up, before I move on to the next topic. I'm going to talk to you about my mindset with this whole basket. It was really intense and one of the most intense baskets I've had to emotionally deal with. And so, for those traders of you guys that are sometimes have trouble dealing with emotions, I'm going to go into it pretty heavily right now, um, because I was definitely feeling them on this trade. Real fast, Roz H. Hi Ryan, was it major losses from yesterday? No, Roz H, it was not. I held strong and oh, looks like I have another basket that just went in for on my algorithm. I was considering having that be a. I was considering closing out all of my basket. I'm not closing out, but turning off my algorithm today until uh, the UK election is done. But I think I'll leave it on. And the reason for that is because I only have one trade in right now. It's not a big deal. It's not like I have multiple trades in. If I did have multiple trades in, I would probably hold off until the elections are finished. So this is a trade that I'll decide on as I go throughout the day, if I want to hold it in, if I want to take a small loss on it or not. Okay, so let's talk about these emotions, right? Okay, so uh, when I saw this, the second trade went in, I was panicking a little bit because I knew that that was a mistake. I was a little bit annoyed because I was doing the stream at the same time, and so typically I probably would have caught this position before I entered, um, and that was fine. That was not great. This was a fine trade. I'm not complaining about the entry here. I had no idea that this was going to push up. But yes, this was a mistake. Trade 2 was a mistake. Trade 3 was fine, but I had to wait a while before entering it. So at this point, I was thinking, oh crap, the UK election is only 24 hours away, and I'm in pretty deep here. I'm in almost 150 pips drawdown from the original order, and I don't have a lot of time to close out. And so when that happens, that's usually the times where I'm emotionally a little bit worried because I'm in deep and I don't have a lot of time or room to get out of the position before the big election comes. Um, so when my algorithm took over, I was thinking, oh right, that's fine, but this is also not great because now I'm in deeper at this point. Uh, and um, and I don't have again, I'm running at a margin. Well, I had 3,000 over 3,000 margin amongst all these trades, but still, I was approaching about $2,000 drawdown. Let me show you that now. This is my account. Let's refresh it. Okay, so this is my today's profit, as you can see. My drawdown is still max 6.2%, so I never exceeded that during this basket. But it was it was close to $2,000 drawdown. So I was approaching my max drawdown, and and why was I so scared of the election, the UK election? Because the election, once they decide who is going to win, um, it could easily drive the price hundreds of pips in either direction. I expect it to be pretty choppy in once it starts moving, but it will be pretty fast and it will be pretty hard. And that could, if it went against my positions, that could be a pretty big nightmare for me. I would easily probably exceed 10%, maybe 15% drawdown on my positions. My margin would probably start getting a little bit scary. And So during this whole process, I was considering. Now this is where you guys are going to be like, oh, I've been here before. I wasn't considering closing out my positions, but I was considering putting on a large hedge trade in the opposite direction. So all these are short positions, right? All these 5 trades are short positions. I was considering putting on a long hedge position in this area, right up here. I would have had it would have gone up a bit, but it would have gone down in a major way, and that would have been really bad because I was considering doing 4 lots on the long side, and at the time I think I had about 2.5 in on the short side. So short and then 4 lots on the long side means my margin would be pretty close to being out, and it would have been a little scary because if this once this moved against me, yeah, I would have been toast. And multiple thousands of drawdown, no more margin to deal with. So what kept me from doing it? Well, I did a little bit of research, and this is something that I want you guys to try to learn to do, so you can have make better decisions on your positions. So I looked at Forex Factory, and I was constantly looking at what was happening with the election, what's the possible outcomes, and I found this article on FX Street, the UK poll. Um, so it shows me here uh, 3 scenarios. I read the scenarios, and two of the scenarios show a negative outlook on the pound, and the positive one shows a positive outlook on the pound initially, with a longer term focus on the downside. So each scenario, doesn't matter what happens, will likely result in or have a better chance of going on the short side, or being a weak pound. Um, in the longer term. Now, some of these options or these scenarios can show some positivity, but it's a very unsure outcome, and so that is one of the bigger reasons why I held on to my short positions and didn't enter a hedge on the long side. Um, Let me see. There was also this. This was an election poll that I pulled up, and you can see that the percentages are very for the liberals and the conservatives are really close. They're really tight. So what this makes me think while making this, trying to make the decision if I want to hold on to these trades or do a hedge or get kind of risky with them, was that the percentages are really close. That means that there's going to be a lot of volatility. Um, and because it's so close, I was expecting that players, the ones that were playing the pound, would pull back on their positions before the election vote started, so they could close out profit. So it's profit taking. That's what's happening right now. This is profit taking, and that's why the pound. The pound CAD, and well, pretty much all the pound pairs right now are all going on the downside, as you can see here on the same things happening on the pound US dollar. And so profit taking is happening, and that is what got me out of this trade. And so doing a little bit of research on my positions. Should I keep them in? Should I make adjustments? These are the kind of things that you guys need to do, so you can control those emotions. Uh, my emotions at that point were, okay, I'm ready to ride this out on the short side. I'm not going to enter a hedge on the long, even if it comes down a bit like in this area right here when it dipped down and it shot back up. I was like, okay, again, I was like thinking, I would kind of want to enter a long position there. I held out because of the fundamentals that I'm watching for just weren't quite lining up um, with the technicals that were happening on chart with this continued trend on the upside. All right. So that's the emotional side that you guys also need to do on your trades. You can't just trade the technical. That just doesn't work. I know so many people want to do that, but you have to watch both. A good place for that, I recommend, is FX Street, guys. It's a good place to find news events or news articles on possible outcomes, or like in this scenario, the 3 different outcomes of the UK election and what's possible from each of the outcomes. It will give you I guess, a more information to ride on with your trades that you're currently in. All right, so the I don't recommend you guys taking any positions today. Um, I mean, I shouldn't even be in this one right now on the pound CAD. I may close it out if it pushes into a little bit of profit, um, because there's just too much going on. And once the election comes, no matter what the decision is, there will be volatility, either down or up. So if this moves into a slight profit of like $5 to $10, I may consider closing it out and disabling my EAs or my algorithms as well. Okay, so right now we're going to get into some questions. It looks like we have some questions coming in that I'm going to answer. So sorry, I apologize for the slow reaction. Pound will go mad overnight. Be careful. Could move over 500 either way. If labor win, it will fall through the floor. Yes, it will. You're correct. It will fall, and if labor win, which I think is an unlikely scenario, but anything's possible. We thought that Brexit was unlikely, but that happened. So if labor win, I think the pound will fall. It will fall hard, as Andy says, and there will be also long-term fallout as well because of it. Um, expecting the pound to fall for the next 8 hours, then large bounce back. I agree, Andy. I do agree there. I think that Theresa May will probably end up pulling out the election. It could be tight, but if she does, there will be an initial bounce on the pound. That is actually what caused this push up earlier yesterday. Was the anticipation that she would pull out the election and the conservatives would win. And so that's what I ended up getting stuck in. Wonderful. Um, so that's where we are now. And things are looking much better for me, especially since I just have one trade in. But I'm likely going to close this out, guys. Let's be real. Um, I don't recommend trading on the Euro US dollar or any US dollar pairs right now, considering the commies testifying and things could get a little bit rough today. Unless you have some positions in that you're trying to figure out if you're in high drawdown, then I would consider closing out. So we're going to close out right now. I'm going to disable my auto trading on both of my accounts. And I am going to call it quits. All right, so, oh, I got to close out the one here too. All right. All right, guys, I think that's probably the best option right now, considering that we're only hours away from this election happening, and the volatility is going to go crazy. So uh, let's get into some questions now that were asked over since the last stream. So I'll start with the YouTube comments. I believe that those ones came in first. Um, Hi Ryan, thanks for the reply on my questions. I assume that this is a, not a FIFO account. If it is, how will this affect your money management or your trading as a whole? I'm still trying to figure out a long-term strategy I use to add positions to a successful trend, but it's hard these days because of this BS regulation rule from Barney Frank. Thanks, Barney. Would you be able to go through the differences between the manual trading versus the robot? Like is your EA just taking trades on the 1 hour, etc. Oh, and thanks for sharing your trading journey and strategies. There are not enough disciplined, successful traders with success. Hence, no one shares their strategy. Um, okay, yeah. Thanks for that comment, CV. I can't remember exactly what your name is, but uh, that's a good post. Yes, this is a non-FIFO account. For those of you that have been following me, this is LMFX. This is a non-regulated broker outside the U.S. And I do have 400 to 1 leverage, which is great to work with. It's I go against the FIFO regulation, although my strategy is FIFO compliant. This strategy does work in compliance with the FIFO. Um, but I'm using LMFX because of the extra bonus that I'm getting. So this is my account is a total balance of about $15,000, and they gave me 100% bonus on top of that. So that's why I have close to 30,000 in the account, and trading it like it's 30,000. So it makes it so my profits are basically double what they would be on a $15,000 account. Okay. So LMFX, I'm using them temporarily so I could just make extra profit. It has nothing to do with the FIFO the regulation. Uh, how will it affect your money management as a whole? FIFO does, and the reason why is because if you look at FIFO regulated brokers, most of them in the U.S. they're 50 to 1 leverage, and the 50 to 1 leverage it makes it difficult to do a lot of basket trading. Um, it becomes a bit tricky, but the strategy is also fits a 50 to 1 leverage, so that's also not a problem. And I'm actually trading this account, the 29,000, with my algorithm just the same as I would at a broker like Oanda. So a FIFO broker with 50 to 1 leverage. So I don't need a lot of leverage, and I don't need I don't need to find a broker that doesn't offer FIFO as well. The only reason I'm using it is just mainly because of the bonus to make double profits. Where did I go? Shoot. Um, I'm still trying to find a long-term strategy. Aren't we all? It's not easy to find a long-term strategy, and the reason why is um, there's quite a few reasons why. You guys probably find yourselves jumping from strategy to strategy, right? It happens all the time because you start using a system, it's profitable for a week, and then next week you lose all your profit and then some. Um, that's pretty typical for forex trading because you don't really know how good that strategy is long term. Not many traders test it. All the traders on Forex Factory jump around just like we do, um, and they almost never stick to a system long term. If they do, most likely they make a lot of changes to it over the longer term. But that's the problem, is that we don't have a tested system out there. We don't have something that has been tested for so many years and shows really good results. At least something that we can trust. There are retail systems that are out there that claim that they have this much track record, but that's still just a claim. It's a retail system. They're selling it for a profit. There's something odd about that. If they're selling it for a profit and it shows long-term results, um, and so that's why what CV was saying, that we don't um, it's hard to find a strategy that works long term. And I kind of lost my train of thought there. That sucks. Um, but the best thing that you can do is do your own research when it comes to trying to find a strategy that works long time long term. I last stream or a couple videos ago, I went through a piece of software that you can use to manual trade your strategy in the back test to see how well it holds up over time. I think that you need at least 5 years of profitable back test history to see if a strategy is profitable in the longer term or if it even has potential. If you can't find a setup or uh, or an edge in the market that works longer than 5 years, I don't really consider it an edge because that means it doesn't work over enough market conditions to really be a um, a solid long-term trading system. Um, okay, and I'll answer the couple of questions that are coming into YouTube right now. I'm going to finish this one with CV. Um, Yes, I like how you say because of the BS regulation rule from Barney Frank. Yeah, it is pretty frustrating. It makes it really difficult for us U.S. traders to profit. Now, CV, that is one of the biggest issues is that because of all the regulation in the states, we don't have a lot of options. And it makes it so a lot of traders just uh, can't be profitable. Actually, I don't even see that many U.S. traders in the retail space at all. And the reason why is because of the leverage. They can't push smaller retail accounts like $100, $200 into multiple thousands because it's not really possible with that kind of leverage. So you rarely see US traders that are successful, especially in the retail space. And so that's why I kind of like doing this stream, is to show you that it is possible, even if I'm using a place like LMFX. This is a FIFO compliance system, and it only requires 50 to 1 leverage. Okay, manual versus uh, manual versus your robot. Okay, yeah, that's where we come into the emotions. As you guys know, during my trading yesterday, I was pretty emotional. I was trying to decide what to do in my current situation, if I should modify my setup or anything like that. And it's it's the reason why is because it was the outcome was unknown in because of my manual trades. Now, typically, if I was in a algorithm trade, I would have a lot more positions on this way up instead of just three. But I trust my algorithm. I trust that it's worked for so many years that I trust that it will know that the chances of it coming out successful are really high. Now, my manual trades are less tested. I haven't tested my manual trades over the longer term, but I do know for a fact that trading like this, looking for reversal points in the market, like I did earlier yesterday, can bring success, but it doesn't have as much success as my algorithm does. There were times in my backtesting history that this kind of trades basket formation may not be as successful in the longer term, although my chances are still pretty high. That's why I still manual trade because there is discretion involved. Now, the test I ran was through an algorithm, so the algorithm may not have been taking these types of trades, but it did give me a pretty good idea of what to expect. So that's the difference, is that you become more emotional when you're less sure about the outcome. I was more emotional because I wasn't sure how these trades would hold up during the election. And also with a basket like this, with these trades as far apart as they were. So trade one, the trade two was 40 pips, and trade two to trade three was 80 pips. Now, what's the problem with that? What's the problem with a basket that is so separated like that? Well, it means that I have less drawdown with all these three trades, right? But it also means that I need more of a pullback from the top order in order to pull out profit. Instead of if I had trade one, trade two, trade three, trade four, trade five, trade six, trade seven, trade eight, like that. If I had more trades at less risk, that means that the pullback from the top order I would need less of because I have more trades that are closer together. So that is why, and that's the sole reason why the algorithm um, can beat me. It can beat me in consistency. It can beat me in because it doesn't have emotions. It can beat me on how much pullback that's necessary for the trades, but it can't beat me on guessing where the peaks are. Now it got lucky here, right? It got lucky because it was on a 20 pip grid. So first trade, second trade, it was entering on 20 pip grid, and it just happened to reverse right on the top order. But this one I actually planned out, and it was a manual trade, and it did reverse there. That's great, but I also need that larger pullback, which I didn't quite get. So a bit of a problem. But I'm not saying that this would have been a profitable setup in here, even with this small pullback here, even if it was an algorithm trade. In that particular setup, no, it wouldn't have been. It would have been a problem on both manual and algorithm. But if this was a complete algorithm setup, I would have been out much earlier than this, than I was here. Okay, so the algorithm can beat me in most cases, and it's one reason why I probably will do a little bit less manual trading, is because I kind of had a kick in the pants today, um, and especially with the mess up of this trade. Um, and so I'm going to probably hone down my manual trades. I was trading at 0.775 lots. I think if I start doing manual trading again, it's going to be more like 0.60. I want to keep it double of what my account balance. So if it's 29, if it's 30,000, then I'm going to do 0.330 times 2, and that's where I'm going to probably stick. Okay. Uh, so that's let's see if that's pretty much So the EA takes trades on the 1 hour on the euro pound and the 30-minute chart on the pound CAD. The 30-minute euro pound also works, the 15-minute euro pound, but I had the longest term success with the 1 hour on the euro pound, and I also had the best success on the 30-minute with the pound CAD, although the 1 hour worked as well. Multiple time frames work, but it just depends on much, how many years you want to pull of successful trades. And I find that those time frames were the best for the setups that my algorithm was looking for. All right, so thanks for your comments, CV. I'll get into your other ones in just a second. So let's answer the YouTube comments that are coming in. Thanks for the comments, by the way, guys. I like the interaction going on. How long how long you married for? I've been married for 8 years. I'm coming up on my eight. Oh, is it 9 years? Um, Shoot. Yeah, it's 9 years. That's going to be 9 years in August 1st. So yeah, I'm coming on the big 9 year anniversary. I was married pretty young, guys. Yeah, I was married at 22, and I was actually trading before I was married. It's been a while. Okay. Margins will get tight tonight. Yes, they will. Another reason why I closed out my trade where I did. You can see the volume right now. So if you're looking at the volume, look how much the volume has just died. The volume has just died completely in this area, and I believe that it's going to stay like this until uh, the election starts taking off. Uh, Ryan, you dog, word up. Have not seen you for a while. Nobody sells profitable system. Nobody sells a profitable system. I actually disagree there, Kreshev. It's hard to find. But let me see if I can pull up one profitable retail system. And I actually have a friend that's using this system. And I've showed this to you guys in my streams and videos before. This is an EA called Happy Forex version 2.2. Now, unfortunately, trades can't stay in for a long period of time, but this EA has massive success over a long, long period of time since 2005, January 2005. And I actually own this EA. I have a friend that has been using it for a couple of months and has had success with it. One basket lasted a month, so you had to have some patience with it, but it has had a very good track record, and it's purchasable. You can purchase it. If you go to happyforexea.com or just search in Google, and it's not that expensive. I think it's like 100 or 150 dollars. And in my opinion, probably pretty much the best retail anything that you can pretty much get in trading forex. Really difficult to find profitable systems and EAs, especially EAs. They're just one in a million. Um, okay, uh, so yeah, you can find them. It's difficult. In most cases, the uh, owner of the software is making more money off of selling it than actually trading it, which is kind of a big problem. The retail space is not friendly. It's not friendly for any of us trying to find our way in trading. We have great places like Forex Factory, Forex Signals, Baby Pips as well. And there's just to name a few. But there's also the retail space is a bunch of losing traders that are trying to find their way um, and looking for the next big system. So it's kind of if you look at it if you want to look at it in a certain way, it's kind of like the blind leading the blind, where all of the traders that are trading are giving bad advice or bad systems um, to other traders, and so it's this revolving type of scenario that just keeps going on and on. Um, I've been on Forex Factory since 2010, so I guess 7 years, and I've posted quite a bit of stuff on there. But I remember the things that I were posting just weren't really tested. They showed some profitable results, but longer term, not really. And so I was just kind of posting not bad stuff, it's just not really great stuff. And I find that a lot of traders do this. They they have success for a month and they post their system, um, and the next month they're not so profitable. So this kind of scenario is no, unfortunate for us because it means that we don't really get anywhere as traders. But what we can do, excuse me, drink some water. What we can do is use this information that we're getting from these Forex websites like forexfactory.com in different ways. So if we find a system, and the guy says, "Oh, I've had great success from this. I've been trading it for a couple weeks or a month." That's usually what you see. You don't usually say somebody that said, "I'm posting my system that I've been trading for a year. It's been really profitable the whole entire time." You rarely see that. If you do see that, it's usually false claims, anyways. Um, so what you can do is dissect the system, figure out how it works. What is the author? What how has he put the system together? How do the indicators work? What is he looking for? And then just kind of try to expand on that. So educate yourself on what these indicators do. For example, I know what these indicators are based on. The IBAN's price. I know what the RMI is based off of, or what it's similar to, so you can have an idea of how to approach the market uh, by understanding. You don't want to blindly say, oh, I'm going to enter a trade after it reaches 70, and a short position after it reaches 70, and a long position after it reaches 30. You need to know why that's the case. Why are these levels important? Um, what significance are they to price? And so you kind of have to look at the full picture and do your due diligence and research on those systems and test manual back test as far as you can go. Like you could probably see, um, let's say for example, you're looking for a setup on the RMI right here, right? So that would probably be around this candle. Now, how successful was that trade? Okay, that one happened to be successful. So what about this one here, where it crossed back up right here? And you would barely cross back up and you would enter a long position here. Was that successful? No. So you'd have to try to figure out what works. Where's a good stop loss so you can actually hit some good profit? Is this a trade? Do you need a filter? All that kind of stuff to make a better complement how your trading techniques works. The biggest advice I can give you is basically using making your strategy. So if you have a good strategy and you want to know if it's worked longer than you can actually search back, because in most brokers you can only go back a couple of years, right? By scrolling back all the way to the back, um, and so you don't have you have limited testing ability on a manual strategy. I recommend making your your strategies into an EA in some form. So let's say that you have a system that looks for specific events in the market, or uses specific indicators. Now, EAs can actually follow candlesticks. They can have specific candlesticks patterns, and you can have a good coder code that for you, just like I had done for me. So if you think that you have a good strategy, have it programmed to an EA and go to MQL5. I've talked about this site before, and have an EA made. This way you can test 20 years of data to see if that setup is good, and how long it's lasted. And you can also manipulate the risk management to see what actually works with that setup over the longer term. So that's the kind of stuff that you guys need to do in order to be a profitable trader. Now, overall, I've had wins and losses over the last 3 years, but overall, I have been a profitable trader since I began since April of 2015. So I call that the time that I became a professional trader. I have had losses in that time, and some of them were pretty substantial, but it's still this losses didn't overtake the amount of profit that I made over the course of the last 3 years. Okay, so let's get into some more questions here. Okay, so the looks like the YouTube ones are not um, So nothing's coming in on YouTube. Let me see. Okay, so the next questions I'm going to have answered are yeah, I have answered are on Forks Factory. Now, a couple of these came in. So Crowley, I mentioned Crowley before because he said, I've been watching your videos. I've been using um, your strategy. Um, okay, so yeah, that was it. Crowley. No, it wasn't Crowley. Okay, so it was OSFX. OSFX has been using my strategy and has had success with it. Now he must have created his own version of it, whether it's EA or if it's manual trading. You can manual trade my algorithm strategy. Um, you don't need an algorithm to trade the strategy. You can trade a little bit better because you can actually use it on a grid, and that helps a lot, like I was telling you before. But it's not necessary in order to have a profitable long-term system. Um, Started watching your videos, very interesting. When I first found Forex, I was looking. Okay, so I read this one the other day, and so this is a new one. Thanks, Ryan. I enjoyed your live stream video. My target is trading to 8 to 10% per month, which basically is annual doubling of an account. So far, so good. Looking forward to the next stream. So I'm not sure if Crowy is using my strategy or not. Uh, so yeah, I'm not sure, but that's a good target, 8 to 10%. That's not too bad. I think that's a little high, and can put a lot of pressure on you to try to achieve that every month. But if you're getting it on a consistent a goal or a consistent basis, then why not continue to do that? Okay, so the next one. Did you ever feel that you are making changes with your rules of trading just because recording or publishing? Yes, that actually happened yesterday, as I mentioned about entering uh, this position. This one, again, this is the one that I messed up on, where I shouldn't have entered because news was coming out. That was, I kind of blame the stream, unfortunately. Um, it's not a big deal. It was one trade, it wasn't multiple, and so I was able to work with it. Um, and so far, I haven't had a lot of mistakes because of streaming or recording yet. A lot of times, you guys will see when I post a video, it's usually when my trades have closed out because I don't want to post videos when there are multiple trades in because people see that and they're like, whoa, what is this guy doing? It's in massive drawdown. Why does he have so many trades in? Why is he trading against? And so all these questions come up that are unnecessary. And a lot of times they're new traders that don't understand the system or how it works. And so therefore I just kind of avoid having that happen in general. Okay, so OSFX, thumbs up on your stream. I appreciate your honest way of your idea of staying an independent trader. I saw you mentioning my post. Of course, I will share my last settings on the pound M30. Uh, RMI period 12, RMI shift 3, level 75.25, take profit 40 pips per basket, stop loss 250 pips per trade. Um, currently I'm shifting all my trading from MT4 to MT5 as MT5 offers much better possibilities for multi-symbol, multi-time frame testing. Now this is interesting. This is when he says MT5 offers much better possibilities. I'm actually looking at that as well, MT5. Now I don't think that my Oanda, I'm not sure if they have MT4 MT5 yet, but soon things will be transferred over to MT5, and we'll have to make those changes. Eventually, the brokers will. So I've stopped my EA on MT4 now, but as soon as I have recoded my indicators and EAs, I will relaunch on MT5. Okay, so this is helpful. So for those of you guys that are wanting to use my strategy, these are some good settings. At least that OZFX have had. I will test these settings and I'll report back in my next video or stream. Um, but this is helpful. And I have actually had some success with a stop loss of 200 of a smaller stop loss around 250 pips as well. So I believe that these settings are good just by me looking at them right now. Um, but I'll keep you posted on what I find. All right, guys. If there's any more questions, let's see. It looks like a couple more come in. I'm probably going to keep this stream to an hour. I think the one yesterday was a bit too long, an hour and 30 minutes. Uh, Ryan, this is good to watch on YouTube. Uh, Anton Krail annihilates retail brokers. Uh, Using MT5 at the moment, found it very good. Okay, so you're using MT5 as well. Yeah, I need to do a little bit more research on MT5 to see if it can benefit me in any way. Thanks, Andy May. And any more questions before I go? I think that this is pretty much, I think I went over everything. Oh, actually, in the next 5 minutes, I can go over one thing. Let me just see. There are a couple more questions from CV, and I also wanted to talk about Gold Star, so I'll try to keep that to the next 5 minutes. I want to make a 0 to 3% consistently for 2 to 3 years before I go full time or accept money from friends or money in general. Percent, I will be very happy. 0 to 3% is a pretty low goal, and I think that's a good thing to shoot for starting out. I like to tell traders to start using, try to shoot for 1 to 3%, because that's a good goal, and then you can scale up your risk so you can potentially shoot for more profit. So that's a way to do it. P.S. You may want to move your camera to the lower left. I started doing that today. Actually moved it to the right, the lower right side. Hopefully you guys like that. Let me know. I thank you for hearing the way you trade. I thank you for hearing the way you trade on the emotional, psychological aspect. I feel that this is the best way for me to understand the process through your brain and making these trades. Yeah, that's the thing I tried to capture with this as well, and that's why I talked a lot about the emotions today in today's stream. So you can see how my mind is working, so you can maybe follow in my footsteps to become better at managing emotions. Um, the last thing I wanted to go over was you guys may know of a trader called Gold Star. Gold Star has been around for some time. He used to trade at forexsignals.com or .net, and he had a pretty big loss recently on one of his baskets, and currently is in some drawdown right now. But this is another basket trading system that has too big of a loss cutoff. Um, and uh, and he actually closed out a percentage of the account, which he has been struggling to make back ever since. And it's just because the loss was too big. Now, your losses on a basket system have to be in relationship to how many trades you have and how much profit you're making as well on top of that. Otherwise, it's going to take too long for you to make back your losses in basket trading if your losses are too large. Um, it doesn't mean that you have to have your profits in pip amount to be the same as your losses in pip amount. It just means that you have to have enough winning trades to make back those losses if they're smaller, um, and you have to have fewer losses in general. All right, so this is another system that I don't quite recommend. It used to work very well, but the times have changed. It hasn't been able to adapt very well to the changing markets. And the markets right now are changing faster than they ever have. Things are becoming different. Behaviors in pairs are also different now. So just be very cautious. Don't shoot for too much profit. Um, and be careful adding to your positions either on the positive side or even on the negative side. So when you trade against or when you're adding positions to a losing trade. So basket trading should be very well thought out before you get started into it. So hopefully that's what this uh, my video series is doing to help you. All right, so next time I'm going to go a little bit more over settings of my EA, of my strategy, of my algorithm, because I will be concentrating more on just trading the algorithm next week. Instead of doing so many manual trades, taking a little break because of all the emotional stress that I had today. That's the plan, and I will see you guys back maybe on Friday. We'll see how if I have any more trades from them, but I'm thinking that this is probably going to be it for the week when it comes to trades. I'll probably turn the EA back on my algorithm back on Friday, but probably not going to see a lot of profitable trades until next week. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching the stream. It looks like I have one more question from Andy. Ryan, do you know if FX Viper basket trades? Yes, I went over that in one of my last streams, Andy. I don't have him up here right now. I talked about how his basket trading is a little bit dangerous right now because he's holding on to too many positions. Let me see if I can find that real fast for you. Okay, here it is. He is holding on to his euro US dollar short positions. But the thing is, it's becoming ridiculous. He does this. I don't know why he does this. Why he just holds on to them until eventually they turn his way, which it takes hundreds, if not thousands, of pips for him to get out of this kind of drawdown. Um, and it's a basket trading. He's good at it. He can basket trade. He has a long-term track record, but there's a huge but is because he doesn't have a stop loss on his trades. He doesn't have a stop loss on his basket trades, which I think is a huge mistake. There's comes a time where you claim that you have to let go of your and look for better opportunities in a loss. I haven't had to do that quite yet, but I'm fully prepared to do that if the time comes. And basket traders need to have a cutoff like that so they can find better opportunities. And so that's what I think, guys. And I hope that you can learn how to basket trade in the correct way by me talking about what I do and dissecting others in basket trading forums or systems to help guide you on your way. All right. I think that is it for today. Yeah, and yes it does. It looks bad. If you want to check out the video, you can check my last stream out. I talk about it. It's an hour and a half long stream, but I think that I do go over it. All right. Thanks so much, guys, for their support. Give me a like if you enjoyed the stream. And give me more questions if you want some stuff answered in regards to basket trading, to regular trading, to motion strategy, anything specific that can help me guide you in this content that I'm providing. So thanks again, and we'll see you next time. Bye.